If you've been around the Marvel circuit recently, you've probably seen this meme once or twice. The idea that when other superheroes are a part of an X-Men project, they're sometimes written completely out of character, doing things that they would never have done if they were a part of their own project. And Captain America is the main example of this. A character that is known for standing up for the little man, for doing what he believes is right despite what a government or other entity thinks. Yet he's almost always the character used to show, hey, these other heroes exist, but here's why they aren't helping the X-Men. As if Steve Rogers wouldn't deck Senator Kelly or William Stryker the first chance he got. So today, let's make an X-Men story fit for anything from the MCU to the comics, where Captain America acts more like himself and helps the X-Men, rather than, fighting them because it will drive up sales or whatever. Hi, my name is Kira. I make nerdy videos about nerdy things. Oh, and music. I do that too. And today, let's fix Captain America, when it comes to the X-Men stuff anyway. So, let's start with the type of enemy they'll be facing. This has to be about the more social issues the X-Men face. If the X-Men were just facing Apocalypse or something, Captain America could just punch him in the face, problem solved. No need for nuance or anything like that. Instead, let's use the government, Senator Kelly, maybe even S.H.I.E.L.D., something like that. An enemy that is coming at the X-Men for being mutants, not just for being a superhero team. And an enemy that Cap may have some sort of association with prior to this event. So there is some conflict or at least repercussions to him siding with the mutants in this situation. Now let's set the scene a bit. First off, Cap shouldn't be jumping in to save the X-Men. He can maybe show up with the government entity first, before switching to the X-Men side. So it's not that he's some white savior that swooped in and saved the little old mutants, but more that he's an ally that is assisting them, but the X-Men still could have handled their own. Now in this universe, let's say, the government or whatever other agency that is doing this isn't super explicitly anti-mutant yet, or else, Cap wouldn't be helping them. It's in this moment, though, that they really reveal their true colors, which is when Cap makes a switch. I imagine it in a very MCU Civil War type of way. The atmosphere is tense, nobody knows who's going to make the first move, then the main leader of the opposing forces says something that crosses the line, essentially giving the order to take down those darn muties. And when everything starts going down, Cap jumps in without hesitation. You know what wouldn't be a tense situation though? Hitting that like and subscribe button to let me know you're enjoying the video. Now, back to Cap and the X-Men. I think this part is really important. It shows that Cap didn't stop to think about the political ramifications or whatever else that so many of these X-Men stories tend to focus on when it comes to Cap. Instead, he jumps in to do what's right the way he always does. Following this, while the X-Men are on the run, maybe the mansion was recently destroyed, so they have nowhere to go. Steve offers them the location to an old Avengers base or something like that, showing that he's not just doing some one-and-done thing, but that he gave up something of his to help the mutant cause. And depending on what the current X storyline is, this could be a semi-permanent change that would be directly impacted by one of the other heroes in the universe. So we can't just say that they never show up to help the X-Men anymore. This might also keep whatever entity is after them off their back in a way, because now they risk dragging Cap and the rest of the Avengers into this war. Doesn't mean that they're gonna stop making Sentinels or anything like that, but at the very least they're not going to destroy yet another one of the X-Men spaces. So, some sort of government entity is after the X-Men / the mutants. Cap is with that entity initially, but immediately jumps ship when he sees exactly what they plan to do. He fights with the X-Men till they reach relative safety, and then he helps provide them with a location to their next base. Cool, but I think there's more that we could do with this. Let's say, for example, this is taking place in whatever the rebooted MCU is going to look like in a couple years. So we don't have the same Cap stories that we had before or anything like that. I would love for this moment to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for Steve. Similar to moments like Winter Soldier or Civil War, where he realizes he can't trust these agencies that are really just out for their own gain, and that he doesn't need to be Captain America to fight for freedom. I think after these events, Cap would become a nomad, losing the star from his costume and going underground, similar to what happened in the Infinity War prequel comics, where Cap was assisting in war-torn countries following Civil War instead of doing the typical superhero stuff. I imagine Cap would go off to help mutants around the world, where the X-Men still operate more as a superhero team. Cap would kind of work like Kitty Pryde's version of the Marauders, helping the mutants around the globe, which may or may not always get assistance from the X-Men. He would still fight a Cap villain as the main villain of this story, and it would still be a Captain America movie. Just the backdrop would be him helping mutants, which helps to make the world feel larger and more real. That the mutant issue isn't just something that exists only in an X-Men movie or book. That a character like Cap could have the events of his movie kick off because of something that happened with the mutants. Even if we don't get something like that, I still think this crossover would print money. People have been demanding for characters like Captain America to be written more accurately in other people's stories. I think people would tune into this just to see it go down the right way. Oh, and Cap and Scott have to dap up. Just imagine that image spreading like wildfire all over the internet. They got it. But there you go. X-Men v Government. Government crosses the line. Cap says nah and joins in on the side of the X-Men. They escape, but the X-Mansion is donezo, so Cap lends them an old Avengers base and maybe becomes Nomad and helps mutants before dapping up Scott, because it's awesome. Sounds like a banging crossover to me that addresses everything people have been mad about whenever other people enter X-Men stuff. Well, I think that does it for me. For more nerdy content, keep it locked right here. Make sure to hit that bell notification icon to be notified whenever I post a new upload. Anyways, my name is Kira, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day.